It is great to have you back here at Coin Lady channel. Dear everyone, advocate for XRP legal representation John Deb and demands that Gary Gensler step down. Legal challenges and concerns regarding the SEC's approach to regulating and enforcing cryptocurrencies have already taken place, and this demand comes at the same time. John Deaton has called for a leadership change at the SEC following a ruling that led to a $1.7 million fine for the Commission for misleading behavior in the Deaton case. Another consequence of the disproportionate steps done by the SEC's Gary Gensler is that pro-XRP lawyer John Deaton has started to call for Gensler's resignation as chairman. A number of high-profile cases concerning Ripple and Coinbase have included Deaton as an amicus curiae. He claims that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has used practices under Gensler's leadership that hurt the financial health of the companies it investigates, and he blasts the SEC's handling of the case. After hearing that SEC officials had openly stated their plan to bankrupt a library via legal fees, members of the cryptocurrency community vented their wrath. This revelation has, Deaton added. In addition, John Deaton has revealed that Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse, two executives of Ripple, have been harassed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Similarly, Deaton claims that this shows that the CC is not acting in good faith under the present government. Deaton and others have called for changes and accounting from the government because of this stringent regulatory stance. Several enforcement cases have focused on the question of whether the current chair of the SEC should be replaced and how the SEC assesses and applies the laws governing securities to the digital asset market. This is because the SEC has claimed that certain digital assets are securities and thus must be regulated by the SEC. This strategy leads to the legal framework governing cryptocurrency. Markets has been impacted by lawsuits that have been brought. With the exception of the Deaton case. The actions done by the SEC during its dispute with other crypto groups have not been presented as an example. Legal action has broken out between Ripple Labs and the Securities and Exchange Commission over the classification of the company's XRP token as a security. Critics, like Deaton, have accused the SEC of being too controlling and unpredictable in its oversight of the cryptocurrency industry. His calls for accountability from the top brass of the Securities and Exchange Commission have been met with criticism from some who believe this regulation will stunt the development of the new digital asset market. John Deaton has expressed his frustration by urging Senator Sherrod Brown and Senator Elizabeth Warren, among other notable figures, to take Chris Young into consideration. Deaton has proposed Carlo, a former chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, to take over as chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Carlo would put in more time and effort into establishing a regulatory framework that prioritizes innovation. While John Carlos was chairman of the CFT, he was more open to cryptocurrency developments than Gensler is at the SEC. The actions of one XRP supporting lawyer, John Deaton, have caused quite a stir. He has demanded that Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, resign from his position as a result of an ongoing legal battle and growing criticism of the SEC's stance on coin regulation. Deaton asserts that Gensler and the SEC are conspiring to discredit him and other influential figures in the cryptocurrency industry through acts of bad faith and constant harassment. Some of the people targeted by these acts include members of the Ripple's management, such as Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse. I take great pride in being one of the first to take on Gary Gensler SEC and represent Ripple, Elbree, and Coinbase as amicus curiae in their respective actions. After suing the SEC for over 3 years, beginning on January 21, 2021, I finally got my day in court. On May 28, 2024, I argued that, according to Johnny Depp, these are the attorneys representing the SEC word. His principal worry about digital assets is the SEC's implementation of securities regulations in the cryptocurrency industry. The SEC has taken action after receiving a request from, claiming that these assets are subject to SEC jurisdiction because they are securities. Multiple enforcement cases have been filed. According to Deaton, the SEC's current regulatory stance is so strong and hard to foresee that it could stifle the expansion of the new digital assets industry. Nonetheless, he continues beyond General Zeller's leadership. Instead, he takes to social media to directly address Senators Warren and Brown, pleading with them to do something about the Securities and Exchange Commission's lack of accountability. Prominent XRP supporter and attorney Bill Morgan has reiterated allegations that the SEC engaged in unfair regulatory methods. According to Morgan, the SEC showed bias in favor of Ethereum over XRP. This charge is part of a larger case involving William Heinemann, a former SEC staffer, and is now being formalized through complaints lodged by the Conservative Political Action Conference. According to Pat Morgan's published statements on X, in which he humorously expressed his frustration with F-Gate, the whole thing is really a conspiracy within the XRP community. Even without factoring in the fact that an inquiry into Ripple was begun by the Securities and Exchange Commission in April 2018, while XRP was ranked third in market cap behind Ethereum, the summary is true. This happened when a large number of CCE employees and lawyers were revising the Hammond speech. Following the rise of legal and ethical scrutiny around former Securities and Exchange Commission senior official William Hayman, the XRP army got backing from CAC, raising the question of whether a regulator might be corrupt. The Conservative Political Action Conference (SCPAC) Foundation, which Heinemann served while at the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), is leading the charge in this area, which is why he made this statement. He is facing accusations of unethical behavior and potential conflicts of interest, according to the Center for Regulatory Freedom of PAC's legal complaints filed with the New York and California Bar Associations. If you want to know more, this analyst thinks XRP will do some crazy things after it hits 0.6. This is the goal. In his 2018 major speech, Hyman clarified the Met's stance on Ethereum XE, arguing that it is not a security. The assertions stem from that speech, and the decision has far-reaching consequences in the cryptocurrency world. The head of the Center for Regulatory Freedom at the PAC Foundation, Andrew Langer, made note of Mr. Hyman's associations and conduct, according to the complaint. Well, that concludes our video. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Coming up shortly, farewell.